What's up, guys? This is Tale of Two Dead Girls, and I'm Kayle.
And I am Kayla.
And we are back again with another episode.
23.
Okay, I was gonna say I don't remember.
Episode 23.
23. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Episode 23. Sorry.
we're suck and we're awkward now.
Yeah, we're literally just like off our game. But you know what? Like, who fucking cares?
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care. I love doing this still. It's still fun. So I don't give a fuck if we don't sound professional. So
you know, I actually find that more people like it when well, at least from a lot of people that I've talked to, they say that they like listening to podcasts that feel more genuine and like with like a conversation.
Yeah.
Like I've had a lot of people tell me they stop listening to certain podcasts when they get big because they start to be like really scripted, which, you know,
yeah.
I like that we're not that scripted. I like that we're just like freeform, you know?
Yeah. And like, oh god, sorry if you heard that. that's my my burp. What was I gonna say? Oh, the good thing is too, I mean, good for like our listeners, but like not so good for us is like we don't have ads, like we don't like promote anything. We're not like sponsored.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
you guys don't have to hear, like those little spiels.
I ain't even gonna lie, I skip through that shit.
Yeah, I usually do too, but actually sometimes like with Two Girls, One Ghost, whenever I would listen to them, they would have like their little things and I'm like, oh, you know what? I think I'm gonna try that, and then I'd use their code. But
yeah, sometimes it's like really helpful, but sometimes it's like, hey, here's a fucking 10% off of a mattress. It's like, dude, no, I'm not.
Yeah, for real. So
like with the Murder Squad, I love them. This is in no way sponsored. No, just kidding. But I love them so much. But their ads, oh my god, they do it in like one long segment in the middle of the episode, but it's for real like 3 straight minutes. I'm like, oh my god, dude.
They should like do the speed up thing where it's like have a good day or something, whatever. Yeah. But yeah, but also like the downside of that, we don't make money, so off of this podcast. But you know what? It's okay because like we do other things to make money, and this is just for fun. You know, we're having a good time telling a little spooky stories and people that are being murdered and shit.
But if you want to send us money, just message us. We'll give you our cash apps. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my god! You know what? Yeah, we should have like a donations thing, like, and we can like save the money for. I don't know. Like, what would
I really want to do stickers again. I really would love to do stickers with our new logo and just like something cute.
We should totally start fucking putting shit out with like our like merch and stuff. Wow, I totally forgot about that. Oh yeah, and someone did ask us for like, well, they asked for the original stickers, like from like the original first logo, which I thought I still had some of those, but I fucking lost them, I guess, because I don't know where they are.
I know that you sent me 2, I think.
Yeah, I don't know where.
I put mine on my hydro flask.
Oh, cute. Yeah, I honestly don't even think I ever used any of them.
Yeah, if you have a Tale of Two Dead Girls sticker, you should definitely post it on your Instagram story and tag us or something, and we would love to see if you put it on.
Yeah, make sure you're public too, because if you're private, we probably won't see it.
Yeah, true. But yeah, so anyways, we are, I think, oh yeah, so you're going first this time, right?
Yes, I am.
Oh, before we get started, I wanted to share with you guys a snippet of my boyfriend's new band called Gravity Garden. They are really good. They released music out on all streaming platforms now, and yeah, just check it out. This
song is about Kayle.
Yeah, the song that I'm posting a snippet of for you guys is called Halloween Store, and my boyfriend wrote it about me, so he's a precious little angel. Anyway, him and his friend Tyson wrote this entire album in like a month and recorded it at home, and yeah, it's just amazing. So here's a little sneak peek. It's not a sneak peek, but whatever. Doesn't matter, as long Not really a sneak peek, but a snippet. You guys get it. Anyways, I hope you like it. If you do, go listen.
All right. So I'm going first today. Me, Kayla. Hi. All right. So, um, this is fairly new, so hopefully it's I don't know, okay to talk about. But this is the mysterious death and disappearance of 14-year-old Harley Dilly. I feel like some people might know what this is. I know it like came it like resurfaced earlier this year. Um but yeah, so Harley went missing on December 20th after he left, or December 20th of, I think it was 2019. After he left his home to go to school. He never showed up at school, and then when they called his mom, she never answered. And then she never called the school back or anything, and I'm pretty sure they probably like left her voicemail. And I don't know. I feel like if you're a parent, you would check your voicemail on a weekday because you're a kid. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, so when the school day ended, he never arrived at home. And so it seems like he went missing during the time of like leaving his house to the beginning of school. So like on his walk to school. And then apparently his mom went to Texas Roadhouse and like drank a lot. I don't know if she drank a lot or she had like a drinking problem, but she like went there that same night, like knowing like her son wasn't coming home, or not that he wasn't coming home, but like that he hadn't come home, and like she wasn't. It seemed like she just wasn't worried about it because she just like went to go drink at a fucking
Yeah.
restaurant. Um, so she clearly sucks. And then Harley's dad, Marcus Dilly, went to the Port Clinton Police Department at 11:50 p.m. on Saturday, December 21st, which is a day, like a whole ass. Well, it's like like almost 2 days. Literally, almost 2 days fucking later, he like went and reported his son missing because his kid went missing December 20th, like the morning, going to school, and then he reported it at like almost fucking midnight
Was
the
he
next
like a
day.
rebel kid? Like, did they think that he was just like out with friends and would just eventually come home?
I'll explain that.
Okay.
So Harley's dad um told the police that Harley was angry because his because he broke his phone and he demanded his parents get him a new one, but they told Harley that he needed to earn it. So also I was gonna mention this later on in the story, but I feel like I should just mention it now. Um I watched Harley's videos on, or not all of them because he has a lot, but Harley has a YouTube channel and it's still up. He has a lot of videos of like gaming, you know, I think like Fortnite and stuff like that. But then there's some like just little update videos or like vlogs of where he's just like talking. And then um there was one video that I saw from somebody else like talking about this situation, and they played a part of one of Harley's videos, which I couldn't find because he had too many, and some of them were like 7 hours long of him just like playing games. But in this video, you can hear the parents in the background like screaming, and I don't know if they were yelling at Harley or if they were just like yelling at each other, but they were saying like bad things. And then Harley was like, "Sorry guys, my parents like to yell," or something like that. I don't know. So, and then yeah, I don't know. He just I you could tell that he had like a troubled home, like his parents were not very nice, you know, or
Yeah.
maybe even nice to him. Um so
Wait, how old
apparently
was he again?
he was 14.
Okay. Sorry.
So apparently it wasn't uncommon for their son to not show up at home after school on Fridays. He would sometimes not even come home until Saturday morning. But given the length of time Harley didn't come home, his dad started to get worried, so that's why he decided to report it this time, which I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense that he would wait. I don't know, waiting until almost midnight, like if your son doesn't, if your son is like, if you're used to your son coming home the next morning, like Saturday morning, and he doesn't come home at all, and like you wait until fucking almost midnight to go report it. I feel like that is like you're a fucking idiot. Like
Yeah.
I think I would probably give it until maybe noon or maybe 3 p.m. latest, you know? And then like if my kid isn't home, it's like, "Oh fuck, something's up," you know? Not
Yeah,
until
my
next
curfew was
night.
11 p.m. until I was, like, 18.
Oh
So
shit. Um okay, so during the investigation, the police spoke with a couple of Harley's friends, and when they spoke with his mom, Heather Dilly, she said that on Friday morning, the morning of his disappearance, he was trying to get out of going to school and said he didn't feel well, but she told him to, quote, get his ass to school. And so then she thought that he did because he had left. Um, she also said it was unlike him to run away and that he usually had a set schedule. Like he would come home, do whatever the fuck he does, and then does homework, whatever, plays video games, goes to sleep, whatever. Um, and so, yeah, they were just like, why isn't he home? But then also sometimes, like, Friday nights, he does stay out with his friends. Or not stay out because he's like a kid, but like, you know, sleeps over at friends' houses. So then she suggested the police to go talk to Harley's ex girlfriend. I think it was his ex girlfriend. I don't know. But so the police go to his ex girlfriend's house where her father told them that he hadn't seen Harley in over a week. And she said that he never expressed interest in running away. And other parents of his friends said that they hadn't seen him since Thursday when he was playing with their kids. And a friend of his that he saw Thursday before his disappearance said he appeared to be in a good mood. So nothing really suspicious, nothing to give anyone a reason as to why he didn't show up at school or at home. Um so Marcus, which is the dad, goes home and waits to be contacted with any new info from the police. And then the next day, people and police started searching for Harley. Um, it was like a huge search. So on December 22nd, his mom posted on her Facebook that he was missing. I think that gained a lot of attention, but then she deleted it for some reason, maybe after she found out that he was, you know, when he was found or whatever.
yeah.
Um, so the search went on for a few weeks. It gained national attention. Um, and the Port Clinton police were assisted by the FBI and the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Some businesses and individuals raised almost $20,000 for a fund for information on Harley's disappearance in hopes of bringing him home safely. So, like, if anyone had any information or whatever, that was pretty much like, we'll give you $20,000 if you tell us where he is, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Dang, that's quite
so
a bit of money too.
I know, right? Like for everyone to come together and just like pitch in money, that's a lot. Um so on January 13th, a new lead came through and that led authorities to an abandoned house on Fulton Street in Port Clinton, Ohio, where they found clothing that belonged to Harley, including a maroon coat. Well, it wasn't really a coat, it was like a sweater, I think, like a zip up hoodie. I also want to mention that this abandoned house was either on the same street or close, or like in the neighborhood of where he was living. Um, so it was very close to his home. Um,
Did he
reports
just, like, go
say
there to hang out?
nobody knows.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
didn't know if it was,
that's
like, one of those weird things where, like,
oh,
kids
like that
go
was
to,
like his.
like, hang
No, I
out.
don't know. I don't think so. I also read like, or yeah, I read that that house, it was abandoned, but it was owned by someone and they were like renovating it. And I think they stopped the process for like maybe 6 months or like a year or something like that. And so no one was living there, but it wasn't like a torn down
Oh, okay, it wasn't, like, a
house.
dumpy abandoned house?
No, like it, yeah, I don't even know how you could get in if, yeah, I don't know. But, um, anyways, reports say that there was a metal vent plate near the pile of clothing and a 6-inch hole in the wall above it in the bedroom. In the storage room, investigators found a pair of glasses covered in debris below the second vent hole, which Harley wore glasses. And then, oh shit. Um, oh yeah. So investigators reached into the chimney for any more evidence, and that's when they discovered Harley's body. It was trapped inside the chimney, and the chimney measured to be 9 feet by oh no no not feet, 9 inches by 13 inches. So it wasn't that big at all. And he was positioned with his head toward the roof and his knees were slightly bent. Also, I think he was naked because all his clothes were folded and they were found. So both of his arms were bent with his elbows near his head. One hand was near his back and the other was near his chest. Dust and debris covered his body. They removed. Oh, you know what? You know what? I'm confused because now I remember I read that he was 14 and I also read that he was 12. I think I actually want to go with him being 12. I don't think he was actually 14 because watching the videos, he does look younger. So I at first I was like, wait, he looks a little to be 14. Um so
Yeah.
yeah, he might be 12 or 14. So I'm going to go with 12 though. Okay, so they remove his body. They found 2 socks, sweatpants, a flashlight, and a shoe on the floor of the chimney. His body was in an advanced state of decomposition. Decompose, yeah. Um, so reports say, quote, the position of the victim and associated articles of clothing located on the floor are consistent with the victim sliding or falling down the chimney. It is likely that the clothing was pushed out from the chimney into the bedroom living spaces through the vent openings as the victim attempted to create additional space inside the chimney to breathe. The rust colored dust in the clothing collected was visually consistent with the color of the brick in the chimney.
So they
Um,
think that he was like getting undressed to try to like wiggle out or something?
yeah, which it doesn't even make sense as to why he'd be in the chimney anyways.
Yeah, like
Like,
in an abandoned house where like nobody goes.
yeah,
And he's
I don't
like,
know.
I don't see like a little kid that's just like into video games that has a video that like if he makes YouTube videos that he's streaming for like 7 straight hours, I don't really see a kid like that being like, "Oh, I'm just going to go explore this abandoned house by myself and get in the chimney." Like what the fuck?
Yeah, it's very strange. And so what's even stranger about all of this is that the police said that the death appeared to be an accident. They believe that Harley climbed into the roof or climbed to the roof, and entered the chimney through the roof. The doors and windows were locked, and the area near the crawl space was undisturbed. So the first thought when I read stuff like that is if he came in through the roof, uh, because the exit, the end of the chimney is at the top of a fucking house, right? So the roof.
Yeah.
He gets on the roof. How were his clothes folded? Were they folded? They might have been folded. Or how were his clothes just like neatly put there? Like if he no matter how his clothes were, folded or not folded, how the fuck did they get like to certain spots? Like I don't know. It just doesn't make sense.
It don't add up.
Um
It don't add
yeah.
up.
I know.
Honestly.
Okay, so the coroner ruled his cause of death as compressive asphyxia, which is when respiration is prevented by external pressure on the body, which I guess makes sense because he's stuck in a chimney. But no foul play was expected. The coroner also believes that he died the same day that he went missing. And the Port Clinton police called his death a sad accident. Um, the money
Yeah.
raised,
I have questions.
there's tons. The money raised ended up being used to cover funeral expenses, and the rest went to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. So the thing about this is that a lot of people think it wasn't an accident, including me. I don't think it was an accident. I personally think that his mom or his dad or both of them might have killed him or had some part in it. Um, and a lot of people seem to think that as well. So, like I already said, I'm just gonna add this in here again. Harley had a YouTube channel that is still up, and he would post gaming stuff and vlogs. And in one of his vlogs, I think it was posted in October of 2019, he titled it "I'm Scared." So this video is not on his YouTube channel anymore, but I found it on someone else's YouTube channel, and he was talking about how, like, I think some shit happened with him and his mom, and like she was really pissed at him. She locked him out, and like he had to like stay outside, and he was just like sitting somewhere like making his vlog and just like talking about what happened or whatever. And like he said like he couldn't go anywhere because like if he left this spot like his mom would be like really pissed or something. I don't know. I'll maybe like add the link in the show notes so you guys can go watch it and see like if, I don't know. I'll link his channel and also that video because that video was like concerning. Um, so yeah, the whole thing just seems kind of sketchy, and his parents didn't really treat him right. And I think this case needs to be reopened, and that his parents need to be investigated.
Yeah,
Um,
like I want to know, like, did they have like alibis for when he went missing? Like the fact that they waited so long
that's a
too to like
good
report
idea.
him missing
Yeah,
is really sus because it's like who just like if he was 12 or 14, both of those ages are way too young for his parents to just be like, "Oh, he might just be at a friend's house." Like, what?
yeah,
He's not like 17. Like, are you
yeah,
kidding?
yeah, for
And
sure.
and the fact that he didn't go to school is like was he the type of kid that always like sloughed school? Like, it seems very suspicious. And also I kind of wonder, like in my head, with one of my theories would be like, did the police check and see who else was missing from school that day? Because what if he was like coerced to go in there by like some kids? Like they
Oh
were
my
just messing around
god.
and they're like, "Oh, I dare you to go in there," and then they just left him, or like bullies or something.
I don't know if he is being bullied. Yeah, oops, shit. That's a good question. I never even thought of that. And I don't think the police even fucking thought that far to investigate it.
Yeah,
Um
honestly, they were just like, he just
he
crawled
probably
in the
ran
chimney.
away.
Like, who the
Yeah.
fuck does that alone? like,
Yeah. I wouldn't. That's for sure.
like I
Only Santa
explore
Claus
like
goes
abandoned
down
buildings, but only
chimney.
with my friends. Like, I don't fucking just go by myself.
Yeah, for sure. But that's it. That's all that I had on Harley's case.
My story is a little bit sad. Well, not a little bit. It's fucked up, but it ends happy. So that's a good thing. um yeah. So I'm back at it again with another hometown story. I just feel like I don't know of any other true crime podcasts in Utah, but I also never fucking hear about Utah cases like on any podcast. So
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of stuff that happens in Utah is sheltered or like just doesn't get out to like the rest of the world, but this case actually did. So, this case is about Elizabeth Smart, and I know a lot of people will know this case because it, like I said, it was one of the bigger ones out of Utah, along with Susan Powell, but I feel like it is a really good case to talk about. So, Elizabeth Smart was born on November 3rd, 1987, in Salt Lake City, Utah. She was one of six children. She was very smart and talented. She liked to play the harp and other instruments. And at the time of her life, she was just a normal teenager ready to start her next chapter. I believe she was going to her junior year of like junior. I don't know. Do you guys have in Utah? We have like junior high and then high school. Do you have junior high and high school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's like some places have middle school, but yeah,
Yeah.
junior high and high school.
Yeah, because we have middle school, junior high, high school, but yeah, she was like getting ready to go to junior high. So, on June 4th, 2002, at 2 a.m., 14-year-old Elizabeth Smart's life changed. Elizabeth woke up to a man saying, "I have a knife at your neck. Don't make a sound. Get up and come with me."
Oh my god.
Elizabeth felt the blade against her neck and she complied with the man. At the time, she shared a room with her younger sister, Mary Catherine, who was 9 years old. Elizabeth did not want anything to happen to her sister, so she quietly got up and followed him out of the home.
Oh my god, wait, hold on. It's creepy that you're talking about this because I literally had like I don't know, I don't know if it was last night or the night before, but I was like, what if I wake up and someone's like trying to kill me? Like
Fuck.
that scares
Dude,
me.
I have
And
those thoughts all the fucking time.
it's like make sure everything is locked, okay? Like what else can you I don't know. It's scary.
It
It's so
is.
scary. God. Oh god.
After we had the earthquake and, like, we got woken up to the earthquake and we just laid in bed and, like, did fucking nothing besides, like, scream and, like, try to figure out what was going on, I've
Yeah.
been terrified ever since that, like, someone's gonna
Mm.
break in and we're just gonna get killed, like,
Oh
I'm not
my
gonna be
god.
coherent.
It's so
I
scary.
know.
That's
I
such
actually meant
a
to tell you this the other day. I had a dream where it was, like, a half asleep, half awake dream, and I heard, like, 3 loud bangs that sounded like they were right in my ear, and I, like, jumped awake, and I was, like, terrified.
Oh my god, sleep paralysis, like the beginning of it, but you weren't paralyzed?
Yeah, like, I just
Maybe.
jumped awake, and I, like, woke up my boyfriend, and I made him go all around the house checking everything. Bless his heart.
He didn't hear it? He didn't hear it though?
No, it was just, like, in my ear. It was so
Oh my
weird. Like,
god.
have you ever had those weird
Kayla.
dreams where, like, you hear someone talking, like, directly in your ear or,
Ew,
like
fuck no. Dude, I think that's like demons or
I
something. You
know!
better be
'Kay,
careful.
I fucking told my boyfriend this, and he laughed and looked at me like I was stupid, but I was, like, in my head that night that when I woke up, first, I was like, "What if someone broke in?" And he checked everything, and then after, I was, like, too scared to fall back asleep, and I was thinking of Insidious, how she has, like, the red door that she opened,
Oh
and
my
I was
god.
like, "What if somebody was, like, knocking on my demon door trying to get in?"
Oh my
Like, what if I
god,
didn't
that's
wake up and I just let it, like,
crazy.
opened the door?
Oh my god. Imagine? Holy
I know.
shit.
I'm
I
laughing
wonder if
now,
I can
but I was literally awake from 1 AM to 4:30 AM that night, so
That's terrifying.
yeah.
No thanks. Hey, at least you have someone that like that you're sleeping with in bed because if I mean I'm alone. I mean I have Willow, but I'd be terrified if it was just me and him, like hearing something like that.
Yeah, definitely. I'm thankful every day that I sleep with my boyfriend.
Yeah.
But I do miss my dog. I felt a lot safer with her
Mm,
around too.
yeah.
But, anyways, back to the story. Okay, so Elizabeth thought that Mary Catherine was asleep, so she just, like, was like, "Okay, I'm just gonna get out quietly and, like, follow him out," because obviously she was right next to her sister, like, she didn't want anything to happen. But Mary Catherine was actually awake and heard and saw everything. She didn't make any noises or do anything because she was terrified. Like, again, she was 9 years old, like, you know, when you wake up like that, you just kind of think, like, "Oh, maybe it's not what I think it is."
Yeah.
Elizabeth was taken out of her house and she was led on a very long journey, and along the way, her abductor shoved her to the ground and told her not to make a noise. Elizabeth said that she saw headlights and a car driving by and that it was actually a police car. Unfortunately, the police officer in that car did not see them and just kept driving. Elizabeth then told her captor, "If you're going to kill me, please kill me now." The reasoning for this was because she wanted her family to be able to find her easily, if he was going to kill her. So in her mind, she was just like, if he's going to kill me, like, I just want him to do it now and get it over with so that my family can find my body.
Aww.
Her captor told her, "I'm not going to kill you yet." She tried to plead with him, beg him, and tell him that he would go to jail forever if he was caught. And he told her that the only difference between him and other kidnappers was that he would never be caught. It didn't take long for Elizabeth to figure out who her captor was because she actually knew him. 7 months prior to her being kidnapped, Elizabeth and her mother, Lois, were walking and they saw a homeless man asking for money. And Elizabeth's mother gave him some money, and then he asked if there was any way that he could do work for them to earn some extra money. Lois told him that he would need to talk to her husband, Ed. The man identified himself as Emmanuel, and his real name is Brian David Mitchell. Um, I for throughout the story, I did refer to him as Emmanuel and sometimes as Brian. So just I'm fucking sorry. I don't know why
Got
I
it.
did that, but he gave himself the name Emmanuel because of religious stuff. So we'll get into that. But his real name was Brian David Mitchell.
Mhm.
Ed agreed to let him come and do some handiwork at their house, and when Elizabeth realized who she was even more terrified because, first of all, she knew that he knew her entire family, her mother, her father, her siblings. She knew how much her family tried to help him, and she knew that he knew exactly where everyone in her family slept and lived, you know?
Mhm.
Like, she was fucking terrified when she realized who he was.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, back at Elizabeth's house, Mary Catherine waited until she felt safe, and once she did, she ran to her parents' bedroom and woke up her mom. And she told her that Elizabeth had been taken. At first, her mother thought that Mary Catherine had a bad dream, or maybe that Elizabeth just went to the bathroom. But Mary Catherine was persistent and just kept telling her, like, no, somebody took Elizabeth, somebody took her. Her mother finally got up and she went to check things out, and she quickly realized that Elizabeth was actually gone. And pretty much what solidified this was that she went into the kitchen and she saw that the screen on the kitchen window had been slashed open.
Oh no.
So she dialed 911, and at this point it was around 4 a.m. So it's been 2 hours since Emmanuel took Elizabeth. And I don't remember exactly how far away this was, but Emmanuel took Elizabeth up a trail into the mountains and led her to a makeshift campsite. The trail, Elizabeth describes this trail so long and difficult that at one point it was so narrow that they had to crawl on their hands and knees to get through. So it was really far away from her house. Um, at the campsite, there were tarps on the ground, and a makeshift tent was built into the side of a cliff. When Elizabeth got there, she was greeted by a woman in a long white linen robe. She approached Elizabeth and hugged her. Elizabeth was so confused and just started thinking that maybe all they wanted was a daughter, and that's why they kidnapped her. This, to me, when I read this, I was like, dude, I can't even fucking imagine. Like, being, first of all, you're 14 years old, you're woken up, and then you get greeted by like a woman in a robe. Like, is this a dream? Like, is it how
What the fuck?
the whole time I would just be thinking, like, how is this fucking real? Like, what's going on?
I feel like I've heard this before.
It was super popular, and like, she was on like Nancy Grace and stuff.
Was she on My Favorite Murder?
They might have done an episode. I don't know.
Hmm.
Um, okay, so the woman hugged Elizabeth, and Elizabeth has described this hug as very strong, firm, and dominating. She said that just from the hug alone, she got this feeling of don't you dare do anything that we don't tell you to do. This woman went by the name of Hexba. Her real name was Wanda Eileen Barzy. Hexba took Elizabeth inside the tent, and shortly after Emmanuel came in, Emmanuel had changed out of his dark clothes he kidnapped her in and was now wearing a similar white linen robe. When Elizabeth tells her story, she said that she was so terrified, confused, and exhausted that she wasn't really hearing or processing what Emmanuel was saying, but
Mhm.
it was some type of marriage or, some type of like marital ritual or something. But basically, she said that all she remembers hearing Emmanuel say is, I hereby seal you to me as my wife before God and all of his angels and witnesses.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so she was just kind of like in and out of consciousness at this point,
Mm.
and that's what she remembers hearing. And she just remembers screaming, no. She was like, I did not consent to this. I didn't say yes. Like, don't I have to agree to be your wife? Emmanuel told Elizabeth if she ever screamed like that again, that he would kill her.
Great.
He told her, if you need help being quiet, I will duct tape your mouth. And she didn't want to be duct taped, so she just was quiet. He then told her that she was his chosen wife and that she was now his property.
Fucking hate it.
So at that moment, Elizabeth made the decision right then and there that she would do whatever he said because she wanted to survive. He, trigger warning, this involves sexual assault. So just so in case anybody wants to know that. Anyway, he raped her, and when he was finished, he left her alone. She felt broken, sad, and disgusted, and she was so exhausted she did end up falling asleep. When she woke up, Emmanuel was leaning over her and he was tying a thick cable around her ankles. The cable was bolted into a tree about 20 feet away from the tent. So, for 9 months, she was at the mercy of her kidnappers. Um,
9?
yeah, 9 months.
Shit.
It gets crazier, just wait. So, I wanted to share a quote from Elizabeth's book. where she said, over the next 9 months, Brian David Mitchell would rape me every day, sometimes multiple times a day. He would torture and brutalize me in ways that are impossible to imagine, starve and manipulate me like I was an animal.
Oh my god.
She said that every time that she thought that it couldn't get worse, it did. And on top of everything, she was forced to do drugs and drink. And Elizabeth's family was extremely Mormon, and that was totally against their religion. I don't know if you're familiar with Mormonism or not, but
Yeah.
they don't do any type of drinking, no drugs, no premarital sex. Like, it's really strict with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it was really hard for her because she didn't want to do those things, and he basically told her that he was a prophet and that part of his religion was that she had to experience evil in order to become pure. He said that God demanded that she had to experience all of the evil in the world before she could be saved. So, during the 9 months that Elizabeth was missing, her parents began to believe that she was deceased and that they would one day find her body, but they never gave up hope that she could still be alive.
Mhm.
During searches for her, her uncle came so close to the campsite. They heard him yelling for Elizabeth and told her, if you make a noise, I will kill you, and whoever comes into this camp will die. So there's so many times when she's like
Ugh.
almost rescued that it just like kills me. Like
Yeah.
the first time when she's getting kidnapped and the cop drives by, the second time she literally hears her uncle yelling for her. Like she
Yeah.
hears him yelling her voice or her name.
Yeah.
One night, Emmanuel said to Elizabeth that he had a revelation that her cousin Olivia would be his next wife. So on July 24th, Emmanuel went to Olivia's house to abduct her, but thankfully somebody woke up and he ran off. At the time, officers said that there was no connection to Elizabeth's kidnapping. After this, Elizabeth decided that she would just keep quiet and comply. Eventually, Brian removed her shackles and untied her, Brian or Emmanuel.
Mhm.
He became so comfortable and trusting of her that he took Elizabeth and Hexba down from the mountain into Salt Lake City. He kept Elizabeth and Hexba disguised with long white linen robes and a veil that covered their faces. So all that you
That's
could see,
creepy.
yeah, all that you could see were their eyes.
Creepy.
Um, at one point, he even took them to a house party where people took pictures of them. No
What?
one, yeah, no one recognized her because of the veil and the robes, and so she was literally just hidden in plain sight.
Oh my god.
Over the years, when Elizabeth is questioned, it is extremely upsetting to her. In an interview with Meredith Vieira, she stated that it's wrong for any person to ever judge someone in any situation and say, why didn't you run? Why didn't you scream? It's offensive. You don't know. You don't understand what I was going through. My life and my family were under threat, and those threats were like chains to me.
Mhm.
And I agree with this.
Yeah.
There's a video on YouTube of Nancy Grace, and she's interviewing Elizabeth Smart, and Elizabeth was on there to talk about something specific, and I don't remember what it was, but Nancy kept asking her about like what they did to her, and she told her once like very respectfully, she was like, I'm not really here to talk about that, and I don't want to talk about it. And Nancy just like asked her again, like, well, why didn't you just like scream? Why didn't you run? And Elizabeth just goes, you know what? I'm not here to talk about that. And I actually find it quite rude that you keep asking me.
Oh my god.
And it was so good because I'm just like, dude, like, don't ask a victim to tell you what you want to hear. Like, that's not okay. Like, if they want to
Especially
talk about
after
it.
they tell you that they don't wanna talk
Yeah.
about it, and they proceed to oh my
And
god.
she was 14. Like, I think she was like barely a little over 15 when she was found. So it's just
Mm.
like she was a kid. And the thing that kills me with this is like people are always saying, like, what if she actually did like him or whatever? And why didn't she just scream? Why didn't she tell somebody that who she was? Okay, first of all, he knows exactly where she lives. He took her from her bed.
Yeah.
Like, that would be so terrifying. Like, if I knew that my family was in danger, it's not just some
Mhm.
stranger that kidnapped me and was like, "I'll kill your family." It's somebody that knows your family.
Yeah.
So, anyways, when winter was approaching, Brian and Hexba decided that they were going to relocate to California. Brian decided to go to a library to look at maps and figure out where they should go. Someone called the police because they felt that the girl in the robe looked like Elizabeth. Police 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 approached her and asked her to remove the veil so that they could verify who she was. Brian intervened and said, "This is my daughter. We wear these veils and robes for religious purposes." He was extremely calm, cool, and confident. Hexba was sitting next to Elizabeth and clamped down on her thigh as hard as she could, basically sending a signal to Elizabeth of "Don't you dare say a word." The
Oh,
detective eventually felt that he was wrong and he decided to leave the trio alone. So that's the third time. Third fucking
wow.
time. Elizabeth was devastated. She couldn't believe that he was walking out and leaving her with her captors. Um, it's just I think it became really hard for the officer in this situation because he was afraid to violate their religion, I guess, but I don't know. I don't know how they're supposed to handle that, but it's just so sad that she was just there and
I wonder how he felt after after she was found or whatever, like how he felt knowing that he did come in contact with her and didn't save her, you know?
yeah. There's
Like I
some
want
documentaries that I watched on YouTube and he's actually in some of them and he says that he just couldn't believe it because of how cool and calm Emmanuel was, or Brian was. Like,
Yeah.
he just seemed like cool as a cucumber, nothing's wrong. This is my family, this is my daughter. You're harassing us at the library because of what we're wearing.
Mhm.
It's hard to say, but I don't know like what kind of police protocol that is if they like have someone that's wearing like religious stuff if they're allowed to be like, you need to take that off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I'm not like on this side of the police officer, but it's just so sad. Like my heart
Right.
hurts for her because I wish that she could just scream out like, I'm Elizabeth, help me.
Yeah.
But anyways, okay, so the policeman left and a month later, Emmanuel, Hexba, and Elizabeth boarded a bus to San Diego.
Ew,
So
stay away from us.
I know.
So
At this
calories.
point,
So calories.
yeah.
Nobody calls us that. Actually, I don't know.
I
Just
hate when
I
people are
can't
like, "I'm going to Cali." Like,
I'm
shut
going to
up.
Cali. I say SoCal. Is that cringy? I don't know.
I don't think so, but you're also from California, so I feel like if you give it
Yeah.
a nickname, it's totally okay.
Like I wouldn't call it Cali. Yeah, I live in Cali.
Yeah. It's such a Monster Energy t-shirt thing to say.
Yeah.
Anyways, at this point, it had been 4 months since her kidnapping. Mary Catherine, her 9-year-old sister, suddenly remembered who Emmanuel was and realized that he was the man that took Elizabeth. And
Oh my
Mary
god,
Catherine has
yes.
been interviewed, and she said that literally one day she just woke up and remembered who he was. Like, she said, she's like, I have no idea what prompted this. I straight up just woke up and remembered who he was. And I was like, that was Emmanuel.
Oh my god.
The family told the police, and the police were focusing on a different suspect, and they decided not to release sketches of Emmanuel. The police essentially didn't believe the 9-year-old's memory was correct. So for a
Oh my
while,
god.
yeah, it's really frustrating. They were focusing on a different person and they were basically
I
like,
wonder if we
well,
could like sue them. Be like, well, like, yeah, you guys didn't believe me, so I'm gonna sue you now because my fucking sibling was being tortured longer because you guys are fucking idiots.
I know. They're just like, well, she was 9, but like, dude, she was laying right fucking next to her and they
Yeah.
knew who he was. Like, if she remembered, I would believe her.
Yeah,
And
same.
obviously she was right.
Yeah.
So, as the months went by, Elizabeth began to feel hopeless. They would attend public gatherings and homeless shelters, but she was always covered in the veil and unrecognizable. By February 2003, her 8th month of being kidnapped, Elizabeth began to fear that she would die. Emmanuel had left her and Hexba alone for days with no food or water. Elizabeth said that when Emmanuel finally returned, he told the women that he was arrested for breaking into a church. He was actually able to get out of it because the judge ended up feeling sorry for him.
Oh my
There's
god.
like, yeah, there's like footage from the court case, and it's just like disgusting, but it's also like good that he got out because they were not going to leave the camp and they were just going to die. Like, so let's see. Okay, after this, Emmanuel said that he wanted to move to the East Coast. Elizabeth realized that if this happened, she would never be found again. She decided to tell Brian that she had a feeling that they needed to go back to Utah. She told him that he should pray to God. She fed into his belief that he was a prophet, and she said to ask God if it was a good idea. It worked, and Emmanuel said that God told him that they needed to go back to Utah.
God, yes. Yes.
So she was smart and she realized that she could manipulate him.
Hell yeah.
Um, so back at home, Elizabeth's family decided to start releasing sketches of Brian, and eventually his family members started calling in to identify him, and his actual photos were released.
Oh
So
my
his
god.
family started calling in, being like, "That's Brian David Mitchell, and these are his actual photos."
Yeah.
Elizabeth's case was even featured on America's Most Wanted with John Walsh.
Oh my god, I
So
used to watch that.
I know, me too. I love John Walsh. I still watch In Pursuit.
I don't know what that is.
It's like one of his newer shows where he talks about like fugitives that are still out there that need to be caught and like what they do, what they did.
Sick. I used to watch Dog the Bounty Hunter.
I used to love that show too.
That was my thing.
On March 12th, 2003, the trio arrived in Sandy, Utah. They went to a Walmart and Elizabeth saw the postage of missing children. So I don't know if it's in your Walmart, but like at the Walmarts, they usually have like that big poster board.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
And they'd have
she's,
like military people on there too, huh?
yeah, sometimes I think.
I remember seeing that and it was like, DJ, you should put your face up there or something. But I honestly never knew what it was. Like I would just see a board with a bunch of people's faces and I never really paid attention to it. But that's when I was younger.
Yeah.
And DJ's my brother because he was a Marine.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, Elizabeth saw that poster and she was devastated that her picture wasn't on the wall. She started thinking, what if her family forgot about her? Luckily, after 9 months of being kidnapped, somebody recognized Brian from America's Most Wanted and called 911.
Hell yeah.
Police cars, because he never wore the veil. It was only the two girls. So
Hmm.
police cars surrounded the trio. The police started questioning them, asking who they were, and at this point Elizabeth was totally compliant with Emmanuel and Hexpa. She was terrified of them. They told her constantly that if she spoke out of line or did not say what they told her to say, that they would kill her or her entire family. Um, People and police have seen her before and they did not take her away or save her. Remember, Emmanuel knew her family, all of her
Hmm.
siblings, and exactly where she lived. And at this point, she had just turned 15. So when the police questioned Elizabeth, at first she did not identify herself. The detectives noticed that she was so scared that they could see her heart beating under her robe. So
Hmm.
they decided that they needed to question her by herself. So one officer, when they finally got her away, one officer just finally said to her, "Are you Elizabeth Smart?" In that moment, she wanted so badly to just scream out, "Yes, please save me." But there was a part of her that caused her to hesitate because she worried, what if they don't believe me? What if they give me back to him? Eventually,
Oh
she
my
said yes,
god.
and that she was Elizabeth. She was taken back to the police station, and her father came into the room and said, "Elizabeth, is that you?" She said, "Yes, Dad, it's really me." Elizabeth said that the moment her dad grabbed her and hugged her, she knew that no one else would ever hurt her again.
Wait, how did he not know it was her?
Well, she was still in the robes, and I think
Oh.
he was just in shock. Like she was missing for 9 months.
Oh.
Usually when people go missing, they're not alive. Like it very rarely happens that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I feel like he was just in shock. Like, oh my god, is it really you? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But I also think she was still in her robes, so I'm not sure. But Elizabeth said that being back with her family healed her. Her mother told her. So basically, Elizabeth has been asked multiple times, like, because she pretty much just went like back to normal life. Like she didn't really miss a beat. I mean, obviously to the public eye, I'm sure she had her own struggles, but she has told the public multiple times that she did go to different types of therapies, but that being back with her family was what helped her the most. And the one thing that got her through everything was her mother said to her, "This man took 9 months of your life that you'll never get back, but the best punishment that you can give him is pure happiness."
What?
Yeah, so since the kidnapping, Elizabeth has gotten married. She has 3 children, and she has become a victim's advocate and publicly shares her story to help other victims of trauma.
Yes.
Yeah, she's like she does she hosts some shows as well. I can't remember which ones. I think just like the Dateline. Like you can find her on she hosts like some YouTube crime watch shows that are
Yeah, and
like the Dateline 2020 shows or whatever. But I can't remember
she's
which
she's
one.
on ABC stuff, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Is that what Dateline's on? No, huh? I don't think that's on
I can't remember,
ABC.
dude. They all just like blend together.
Yeah,
Like I'll just go on YouTube and then click on one video and just let it autoplay forever. Like I don't pay
yeah,
attention to who posted it.
for sure.
But yeah, she became a victim's advocate, and she said that just, what got her through everything was just riding horses, playing music, being with her family.
Hmm.
She even said in an interview that the night that she got home, she slept in her own bed. Like,
Oh my God.
I
Wow,
just
she's brave
honestly, like,
to sleep there.
I feel like something like this would just absolutely destroy me, but she took it and used it as strength. Like I think she just realized it was finally over and that she would be
Yeah.
safe for good.
Yeah.
But I'm
Oh,
sure
poor
she has
Kayla.
her own struggles that she doesn't share, but
For sure.
Wanda Barzey, or Hexba, and Brian David Mitchell, or Emmanuel, were arrested and convicted for her kidnapping. Brian was sentenced to life in prison, but Wanda Barzey only spent 15 years in prison, and she was released after police say that they miscalculated her sentencing. So they basically stated that her time in custody before the trial was not included, which was like 5 years or something.
Hmm.
So they were like, oh, we forgot to count that 5 years. So you're actually out 5 years early.
What?
So she was in her 70s though. And like she's pretty much in a nursing home.
Yeah.
Like she's not in good shape. And
Hmm.
from what I could find, Brian David Mitchell is still alive, but there's like nothing on him. Like
About
I
him.
tried to look up so many different ways of like, where is he now? What prison is he in? Like I have no idea, honestly.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
That's
that's
so
the weird thing
weird.
about Utah is like there's stuff that happens here and then it just doesn't get reported on ever again and like no one else in the
Maybe.
world really reports on it. So,
Wait, was he wasn't actually Mormon, was he, or was he just pretending to be, or was he Mormon?
so Elizabeth was Mormon, but he had like his own religion because he thought he was like a prophet.
Oh, right, right, right. Because I was thinking maybe because he was so religious, he's not posted every. I don't know. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he's even in prison like in Utah or I think I heard somewhere that he was in prison in Arizona.
Wait, so
Um
why did he kill her? Like, cause usually when people get kidnapped, they like kill them.
he didn't kill her because he was like in love with her. Like she was his wife.
Oh, right, right. Yeah,
So, I
yeah.
mean, at least I think that's
Weirdo.
why. I mean, he thought he wanted multiple wives. Like he was going to kidnap her cousin Olivia, but he didn't
Hmm.
succeed. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's just because he wanted her as his wife.
Cause he's that obsessed. Wow.
Yeah.
If only. Never mind. I was gonna make a joke that I shouldn't make because it's not a funny joke, and I shouldn't have even thought of it. So
Oh
I'm
my
gonna stop
gosh.
talking.
It's okay. Yeah, but it's like it's a horrible story, but it's also good because, she was found, she was returned to her family, she was able to live her life and
Yeah. She has her own family,
yeah,
her
she has
own
her own family.
husband.
Yeah. She seems to be doing really good and she did a lot of good with her life.
Yeah.
But it's a crazy story. Like it's so sad to think that you could just be kidnapped from your bed like while you're sleeping
I
just
don't
as
even
a
want to think
little
about it.
kid. Yeah.
I
It's
don't
so
want to think about it.
terrifying. And it's like scary that most people know, like when people are kidnapped, most of them know their captor.
That's scary.
Yeah.
I don't like it. How am I gonna keep myself safe now? I need to buy a gun. Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Honestly, I have one.
Do you really? Oh my
Yeah.
god. My brother has a few actually, and he's like taught me like how to hold it and like how to pull the thingy back and load it and stuff,
Pull the
but
thingy back.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I'm just like I don't even want to touch it. It's too heavy and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I
But
feel that.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have my dog to protect me if there's any intruders, like he'll bark or something. I don't
That's
know.
true.
I get scared. Willow, stop licking your asshole.
Oh my god.
He's like, fine, mama. And he gives me the side eye.
But yeah, that's the story of Elizabeth Smart.
Yeah,
So,
so it's great that in situations like this, they don't always end up dead.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it's just, like, she was never okay with what he was doing. She didn't get, like, Stockholm syndrome,
yeah,
but she just wanted to survive, and she just, like, had
right.
faith that one day, like, someone would know who she was. But
Yeah.
it's so easy for people to judge and just be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you just didn't scream out to the police, like, 'Yes, it's me.'"
Oh, you
And it
idiots.
makes me mad because, like, before I looked into it, I was like, "It's crazy that she was, like, in public, like, how could she not just scream?" Like, I would just but that's probably what kept her alive because if
Yeah.
somebody didn't believe her and they took her back, they would have probably killed her.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know, it just that's probably what kept her alive as painful as it was, and I can't even imagine the emotional torment she went through
Yeah.
knowing that, like, a police officer was right in front of her and just left,
Mhm.
you know? A lot of people thought that her dad had something to do with it whenever she first went missing.
Oh my god, I hope not.
No, he didn't. He
Um,
didn't, but, like, it was just suspicious.
I wonder if her story is on, I Survived.
I think it is.
Yeah, because I feel like I've heard this story before, and I think that's actually might have where I've heard it or seen it if it is on that.
She's either on I Survived or she no, because she doesn't do that. They don't do that on that show. Yeah, I think her story is on I Survived. I know that it's on a lot of shows, so I wouldn't be
Oh.
surprised, but I'm pretty sure it is on I Survived.
She also has a book. I think it's just called My Story, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so go check that out. I think it's on Amazon.
Yeah, but she is on a lot, and you can look up, like, on YouTube, there are multiple documentaries and with her talking, like, all of the information I got, I tried to get it from the documentaries where she tells her story so that I could be as accurate to her story as
Yeah.
possible. I didn't
Mhm.
actually read any of her books because I fucking suck at reading, but yeah, so that's the story of Elizabeth Smart. I'm so glad she survived.
Okay, well, I guess that concludes, is that the right word?
Yeah.
That concludes today's episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thanks for still being around, and we'll talk to you guys in our next episode.
Follow us on Instagram, give us a review unless it's a bad one. No, I'm just kidding.
Keep that shit to yourself.
Yeah, if you have a bad review, just send it to our DMs so that we can do better.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? Do that
Honestly.
instead. DM us on Instagram. Tell us what you don't like. Honestly, we know that like we kind of suck, and like this is just for fun, so I guess I'm sorry if you don't like it, but a lot of people do like it, so like I don't know, but yeah, well, we're open to any suggestions, whatever. We are here for you guys. Well,
Yeah.
and for us. So, but whatever. Y'all get it. Y'all get it. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you guys. Talk to you guys next time. Okay, bye.
We'll meet you 6 feet under.
Oh yeah, we'll meet you 6 feet under. Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.